All right, so the stakes are very high. It's crunch time. Can you turn that down? And it's all systems go. It's all systems go. The Jamaica Labour Party today had its central executive meeting. Actually got a little insight into that. It has made the news. The Prime Minister has confirmed that the elections will be announced tomorrow. All right, so after a long wait, labor rights are finally going to have to deal with the reality of the election. As Scratchy told you today, careers will either advance or diminish in the next 2 months, depending on the outcome of the election. The People's National Party are very enthusiastic. As a matter of fact, I just had a conversation with senior member, not at the cabinet, shadow cabinet level, but you know, he knows enough that tells me that the PNP is well and truly in the race. And when I checked my inbox this afternoon, I saw a poll, a forecast that was sent to me, suggesting that the elections are closer than Politics Plus is suggesting. No, I met with the forecaster this evening, and he needs to get into the field next week. We are asking our listeners to help us to send him into the field. The elections will be announced tomorrow, and he says that he needs to go into the field to do some work. Listeners, you're going to have to pay for this. If it is that you need this information over the next 2 weeks, you're going to have to chip in and help us to finance it. All right, that's KC. KC's forecast. He needs new material. The election being announced means that he will have to get on the ground. He tells me that he will have to get on the ground next week to test what's happening, especially in about 21 of the 63 seats. The elections really come down to about 21 seats. I could give you the seats tonight, but I'm going to do that on Monday. We want to give you a comprehensive forecast of these 21 seats. And if we are going to do so, we are going to have to make an appeal again to our listeners to chip in. All right, so I'm going to have to talk to you tomorrow. Seriously, I don't know if I can get Casey on. The body of work required to provide you with accurate information needs to be paid for. All right, anyway, the stakes remains very, very high, and it comes down now to organization on the ground. Let me your glasses. It comes down to all the work that you have put in. Let me glasses. Not the glasses. All the work that you have put on the ground, you're going to start seeing bombarded with political ads, fierce campaigning. By the way, Dayton Campbell will no longer need to announce the election. The elections will be announced by the Prime Minister tomorrow. I just want you to know, though, that the outcome of the election will significantly impact the country's future. And therefore, people are suggesting that this is the most consequential election in Jamaica's history. The most consequential in Jamaica's history. There are several things that are going to spring surprises in this election. In about 2 weeks' time, I am going to give you my prediction of the election. Not Casey's, my own. So I'm going to tell you how many seats the Labour Party is going to win, and I'm going to tell you how many seats the PNP is going to win. And may I let you into a secret? I've had this information for more than a year, and you can take it to the bank. You can take it to the bank. I'm going to be able to tell you. Maybe 2 or 3. I may leave it for a week before the election. I'm going to tell you how many seats will be won by the Labour Party, and I'm going to tell you how many seats will be won by the People's National Party. Neighbor is going to tell you. And when the election is held, you are to come here and tell me that I am wrong, because I've had this information close to my chest for more than a year. I'm going to give it to you, my listeners. Yes? I've listened to all of the predictions. Casey is employed by this program to do forecasting. We pay him. Yes? With support from some of our listeners. But I'm going to tell you where the election is. Yes? And I can tell you that. Write it down when I tell you. And you're going to come back and tell me, say, neighbor, I think my prediction has a margin of error of less than 1%. That's how accurate it is. Yes? That's how accurate I'm going to be. And when I tell you my election outcome, it's better than Don Anderson. It's better than Blue Dot. After the election, Politics Plus will be the premier political forecasting show in Jamaica, because we are going to get it dead right. Dead right. Right? So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for increased forecasting. We are negotiating with Casey to do 3 nights, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Yes? But that is dependent on the response we get tomorrow when we ask the listeners to pitch in and contribute. You don't have to do much. If you can give $1,000, $2,000, we appreciate it. But we need to get this work done, and the listeners will have to support KC's work by by taking care of that. All right. Now, I will not say I will guide girl. You can't wait. You can't wait, guide girl. You have to wait for it. The anxiety is actually pretty high. As a matter of fact, there is a bit of nervousness. I mean, you can't turn back now, brother. This is it. This is it. Right? Careers are on the line. People are getting nervous. Confidence is high in some quarters. Some people who were asking for the election now running away from it. Yes? But here we go, Jamaica. Here we go. 5 years of leadership under Holness. Will he be allowed to continue? Yes? Or will Mark Golding be given the nod? Yes? The JLP led by Prime Minister Holness is banking on its economic achievements. The Prime Minister stated that today that they have reduced the debt to GDP ratio. The JLP is banking on lowering unemployment rates. The PNP is emphasizing that it has integrity, that it's more progressive. Yes. Who will the Jamaican people choose? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the marginal seats? There are 21. We are forecasting all of those next week. What will happen to those closely watched seats is what we want to focus on. A lot of predictions are out there, but a lot of them are just people's views. We are not putting out any views. We are putting out work that we have done seat by seat. Casey has taken time off from work, for the election. So, let me play something for you and show you and tell you how irresponsible media is in Jamaica. Listen to this.
Scientific poll. It started with a poll on X. The PNP's Julian Robinson emerged as a favorite with a commanding 82%, leaving Favor Williams with a mere 18%. This is not a scientific.
So CVM puts in their 7 o'clock newscast this piece of nonsense.
This is not a scientific poll. It started with a poll on X. The PNP's Julian Robinson emerged as a favorite with a commanding 82%, leaving Favor Williams with a mere 18%. But Facebook told a different tale. There, the gap was closer. Robinson, 56%, Williams, 44%. And over on YouTube, viewers also weighed Robinson pulled ahead, or again, 66% to Williams' 34%. Then came a twist on Instagram. Favor Williams dominated with...
Oh, hold on. Okay, let's see if we can pull that up again and give it to you. Let's give us a minute, listeners. Let's load this up again. That is CVM. What a piece of irresponsibleness by a major news organization in Jamaica. It is very, very disturbing. In a country where propaganda spreads like this. Why is CVM doing this?
This is not a scientific poll. It started with a poll on X.
The presenter is talking about scientifical. That should tell you.
This is not a scientific.
That should tell you something about them. Because if you're presenting, well, let's not criticize her too much. She made an error.
This is not a scientific poll. It started with a poll.
I don't know that there's a word named scientifical, but let's give it to them.
The PNP's Julian Robinson emerged as a favorite with a commanding 82%, leaving Favor Will.
No, this is traditional media. Yes? In a 7 p.m. prime time newscast, putting out an unscientific poll. Huh? Why is CVM doing this? By the way, is there a word named unscientifical? Is there? Huh? I'm looking for it. Is there a word named that? Well, it's unscientific, yeah. No, all is in it. But why is CVM doing this?
This is not a scientific poll. It started with a poll on X. The PNP's Julian Robinson emerged as a favorite.
By the way, I'm sorry to be disturbed. Is this what media has come to in Jamaica? That a major news organization is broadcasting in its primetime news an unscientific poll in an election? What a disgrace. My God.
With a commanding 82%, leaving Favor Williams with a mere 18%. But Facebook told a different tale. There, the gap was closer. Robinson, 56%, Williams, 44%. And over on YouTube, viewers also weighed Robinson pulled ahead, or again, 66% to Williams' 34%. Then came a twist on Instagram. Favor Williams dominated with a staggering 71%, while Robinson trailed at 29%. And so after all the votes were tallied, it was Julian Robinson with 58% and Favor Williams with 42%.
All right, so who do you think would make a better Minister of Finance was the question. All right? On X. Where was the poll conducted? X. Formerly Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. That is where the CVM went. And then they brought the results in primetime news. What is it? What is CVM news called? Under the team Decision 2025. And they put this in the news. This is news. Right? Not even on Andre Stevens. You wouldn't get this. Shame on you, CVM. That this is not news. And you know, today, you know, I told the listeners that media in Jamaica, you know, is really pretty abysmal. But they're not serving the people well. They're not providing the people with information so that the people can make proper decisions. And that is why there's a sense in which propaganda is on the ballot. Propaganda. Is an issue in this election. Right? Because the media is you know, a word came to my mind which I don't know if I can use. Right? Because when you have a media organization in their major newscasts with maybe 500,000 people watching, putting that out, yes, it's faulty reporting. that has no place on traditional media. You don't get a poll from X, from Facebook. I wouldn't take a poll from RGR or Nationwide. It's clear that the Nationwide listeners are predominantly Labour Party support listeners. It's clear. So why would you go to Nationwide to do a poll and publish it as a national as news? That's not news. That's fake news. Anyway, anyway, Garfman, I tell you something that is so very interesting. We have to do better than this, man. We have to do better than this. We have to provide our listeners, our viewers with more, better information. Yeah, so the Labour Party actually goes into the election hoping to campaign, the party says, on its record. The record of the party bears some weight, and I think it is unquestionable that they do have some runs on the board. And I'm going to give you about maybe 5 or 10 that I think are of major achievements. I actually spent more than an hour on the crime situation, and I outlined to you that the achievement of reducing crime is an election winner. Whatever you say about the economy, Garfman, please come back. Let me take you up. I can pause this. Yeah, come back, brother. Whatever you say about the economy, I think if the Labour Party sells the crime reduction achievement, it stands to earn them a significant amount of votes. Because as I pointed out to you, there are 300 people in Jamaica, at least, alive tonight, who would have been unalived had the government not gotten this crime beast under control. Yes? So I think at top of the achievements of the government is the whole matter of crime reduction. I don't think anyone could disagree with that. You see, it has not been properly sold, packaged, and sold to Jamaicans. The impact of a 45% reduction in crime. I don't think that Jamaicans are quite, aware of how significant this is. And quite frankly, I think a government that has been able to reduce crime, murders, by so significant a margin ought to win re-election. Yes? But as I say, it is not one of those things that people think about. You know, you just move about the society, and you don't realize that your life could have been taken away. You take it for granted, eh? Well, I'm going to spend some time on that, you know. Maybe Monday. I'm going to spend a lot of time on it because I think it is important to point out to people how significant this is. 30,000 people were unalived in Jamaica in the last 20 years under both administrations. 30,000. And so if we get to the point, Diego, where we are saving lives, then that is significant. Don't you think so, my comrade friend? I think so. I think that is at the top of the government's achievement. Everything else comes second and third because the value of lives, the 100 buses that the government brought in, one life is valued more. Yes? One life is valued more. And so the second thing would be the whole matter of economic stability. Jamaica is not only economically stable, it is growing. Because if there were no growth, if there was no growth in the economy, how would the government be finding the money to buy the buses and to put in the Sparks program and to raise public sector wages? It is from the economy that the money is coming from. So let us put crime reduction as the re-election achievement of the Andrew Holness led administration. Let us put that one up top. And I am giving some free advice to the government that if you campaign on this, if you campaign on it, break it down for people to understand what this achievement means to them, to that little girl, to that little boy, to that man in the community, to the people who can go out to their dances tonight. Yes? By the way, I didn't know so much money those girls work at nights. You know, the girls of the night. I actually went somewhere tonight and I saw one of them and wow. Well, I'm not putting ideas in anyone's head, but Diego, did you know that, sir? Huh? If the government markets this one, if it is able to promote the significant, and I say significant, because the sparing of 300 lives is nothing to brush away, you know, guys. This is not something where you can just brush aside. And I think that if Jamaicans really understand what is happening on the crime front, that probably many of them will go out and vote for the government. Yeah? It's a significant achievement. And I don't think that we can brush it aside. And then we talk about economic stability. That the Jamaican economy has experienced unprecedented growth in the last 30 years. This has been the best state the economy has been in. I wonder if you know that. We have never had a better economy than what we're having now. especially over the last 9 years. Even with COVID, the economy has delivered a lot of jobs. My understanding is that the figure is at as much as 260,000. Did you know that in 2007, there were at least 500,000 Jamaicans who couldn't find work? 500,000 people were looking work and couldn't find any. I wonder if you know that. I wonder if you know that in 2007, 500,000 Jamaicans couldn't find work. And today, you know what? You know that number? You know what that number is? About 50,000. Now you tell me something. You tell me something. A government that has created 260,000 jobs isn't a government that, you know, should be considered to continue. As I said to you today, you know, some folks has been listening to me and talk about balance. That we are to balance the thing. So tell me now how we must balance this thing. How must I balance this thing? Must I go and dig up now the PNP's history and record of creating jobs to balance it out? Or do I tell the listeners what are the facts and let them make up their minds? Because I'm not here telling you that you are to go out and put your ex any place. What I'm presenting to you is that there are some areas of improvement in Jamaica that you should consider. Yes, the bull. So it is the longest period of sustained economic growth in the history of Jamaica. Did you know that? That this period is the best in the history of Jamaica since 1965, when we gained independence. We have never had a better sustained period of economic growth in Jamaica. Never. And in addition to this, in 2013, that is just before the government took power in 2016, 3 years. 3 years before this government was elected. The government was elected in 2016. The debt to gross domestic product, GDP, is the total value of all the goods that the country produces. The value of that. The debt to the value of all the goods, the value of every striking thing that Jamaica produced was 140%. In other words, the value of it, the country owed more money than all of that. And you know what that debt is today? 68%. 68%. And you know what the target is for 2027? 60%. In other words, for every dollar that the country gets through taxes, through revenue, because it's not only taxes government get revenue through. Every $100 that they get, $60 go to pay debt, and the government have $40 to do everything else. Now, what if we should reduce the debt even further? But remember where it is coming from, 140%, which means that when the government collects all the taxes, it don't have enough to pay the debt. It has to borrow to pay to buy 1 gallon of gas to throw in the police car. That is what that means, When your debt to GDP is 140%, you don't have 1 red cent to buy a Panadol in a hospital, to patch a police car tire. You have to borrow the money, Yes? To buy water for parliamentarians to drink when they go down to parliament, go knock necks. It's borrow them, have to borrow it, That is what that means. So in 2013, Jamaica was stone broke. It had no money. And did you know it was worse at one point? And if I am going to be very, very truthful here, because in 2013, that was under the People's National Party. But they reduced it by 2016, yeah. When the Labour Party came in, it was closer to 130. So when Andrew Holness took over the leadership of this country, the cupboards were bare. And that's why he promised bitter medicine in 2011 and lost the election. Well, he doesn't need to promise any bitter medicine now. He can promise syrup. When he goes into halfway tree tomorrow, you don't have to promise any bitter medicine. Can bust champagne. Holness is going to make a major promise tomorrow to Jamaicans. Stay tuned for it. Holness is going to make a major election promise to the Jamaican people tomorrow. Stay tuned for it. He's not going to promise bitter medicine because Jamaica would have taken the bitter medicine, sucked salt through the spoon in the 90s, drank the bitter medicines, and now the patient Jamaica has recovered and is beginning to show signs of growth. That is what is happening. So when you hear Andrew Holness tomorrow, what you will hear is a confident leader promising the Jamaican people that the economy has recovered sufficient, that they are going to be able to give more to the poor, to the middle class, and to do more for business. Stay tuned for it tomorrow. And it is going to shock the country that the government is able to do what Holness is going to deliver tomorrow. Because the economy is healthy. It is healthy. So, time is going. We're 5 minutes to 10 o'clock. I'm outlining to you these major achievements of the government. I will tell you also what the PNP is campaigning on. I think that the crime reduction is significant. It's at the top of the list. And I'm going to spend some more time and explain that to you. I've told you about economic stability, debt reduction, let's now go to unemployment rate. I told you that in 2007, there were more than 500 people in Jamaica who couldn't find work. Think about that as you are there sipping your juice. What are you doing there? Listening to me. Think about that. A country with about 1.4 million people working, 500,000 can't find work. And you know at that time what we were paying for debt? About $550 million every single day. The government at Jamaica had to cut a check for $550 million every day to pay the debt. Right? And the unemployment rate today is a mere 50,000. Only 50,000 people in the country who now work. According to statistic coming out of Statin, 3.3%. 3.3%. The government would have created over 250,000 new jobs. Think about that. All right. So let me show you. The National Stadium, let's say it holds 30,000 people. 250,000 divided by 30,000 is how much? So you fill the National Stadium 3, 6, 8 times with people that have gotten work in Jamaica. Even if these people are all working the minimum wage, think of that amount of money. Can you do a calculation for me? Somebody? Calculate 250,000 and average it out at 20,000 per person. How much money is that? Billions of dollars flowing into the economy. Billions of dollars flowing into the economy. My time is running out, so I'll pick this up tomorrow. Let's talk to Horatio and go to our beds. Good night, sir.
Good night, neighbor. Good night, neighbor. I hope I greet you well this Saturday night, neighbor. Neighbor, I was listening to you all day, neighbor. I mean, all day. I did want to take part into the earlier session, but I don't